Evening, people. Welcome to BNR for another episode of Live with Asim. We're running out of things to talk about during this international break, but it's a good job. These Semenyo links and Guehi links just keep on appearing, and it's just making us scrape for a bit of content. So I thought I'd go live just to have a bit of chat with the community today and get your questions in. As you know, whenever I'm live, even when I'm with the lads, we always try to engage with you guys, but especially when you're on the loan, and Gene does the same. To be fair to him, we come on, we get your questions on screen, and if you want to send some questions on Twitter like you guys have been doing so over the last hour or so, then please let me know. This is your show. I want to engage, I want to take your questions, so make sure, and you're always supportive and you're always engaging, so sit back, relax, and then I'm here for the best part of the hour. Let me take my first puff of the night because it won't be the last. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I keep on saying it, and I keep getting told off by the admin that I don't mention it enough. So here we are, a minute and a half in. I'm saying like and subscribe to the channel. As you guys know, we don't have an agenda. I really don't. I think we've probably in about 3.5 years, we've had 3 agendas. I don't know why. Maybe it was when some guest was coming on and we thought it'd be nice for them to just be given a few bullet points. But as you know from our shows, they go from A to Z. It's because we don't have an agenda. And I think those shows are always the best. It's our style. And if it goes from A to Z, then so be it. If we have to bring it back to A, then we will. I know it's difficult when Avi's on, but here we are. And big up to Robo. I just saw the score. I wasn't watching that. I was supposed to watch it, but I didn't get time. I saw it. I think it was 1-1, wasn't it? And then Tierney scored at 3-2, and now I'm seeing, I think they won 4-2. So big up to Scotland. Big up to Ireland yesterday. I think Scotland, are they automatically through? I don't really pay attention to these sort of things, but yeah, let me know if Scotland are automatically through to the World Cup, and then Ireland are going to the playoffs, as far as I know. Robbo interview after the game. Robbo's a good lad. I'm happy for him. Really happy for him. Automatic, big up. You know what? Scotland know how to bring some traveling fans as well. I can remember them. I don't know when was the last time they made the World Cup, but I can still remember that game years ago when they lost to Brazil. Ronaldo scored on that day, I think. The R9, the proper player. Scotland fans are brilliant, and obviously in the Euros with the famous Gascoigne goal against him, and Colin Hendry was a centre back. I can remember Colin Hendry. I wonder how many people in the chat remember him. Blackburn he used to play for. France 98, according to Liverpool. That was the R9 goal, wasn't it? Right, here. Yeah, so make sure I'm going to start as many questions as possible, people. So get them in. If you want to talk transfers, there's been some transfer questions on my Twitter. One I think was from Hussein asking me, who are Liverpool's top 5 targets, or who do you think should be Liverpool's top 5 targets? So I'm going to definitely answer that. Let me just quickly go on that link again just to see how many other questions. A few people asking some DM questions, Endo questions, Chiesa questions, Guehi questions, Kirkes questions. So make sure I'm gonna keep that link open. I've heard Guehi is a done deal. I don't know. I don't want to take the piss. I don't know if you're actually joking or you're serious, buddy. But I've not heard anything like that. We had our very own Avi last night, and he was saying all but done. But you know how Avi's like. What does Avi smoke? Asking for a friend. I don't know. But what I will tell you, Isa, is I refuse to believe that is just coffee that he drinks on stream. I don't believe it. Craig from AA. Who's Craig from AA? Is that when your car breaks down and they tell you, oh, I know what you mean. Anfield agenda. um, and forgive me if I'm a bit mellow today, people. It feels like I'm coming down with something. And I was this close to cancel the show, but I thought, you know what? Um, I can't do that. I can't do that. Um, Anfield agenda. That's the one. So I've got a bottle of water. I've put a bit of honey, a bit of ginger, in this tea. But you know what? Big up to the BNR community. You probably realize my cough is getting better. And it's down to you guys. I've been um everyone has been getting ill. Yeah, 100%. It's that sort of weather, isn't it? It's that sort, and it's brilliantly freezing. I heard it's going to be snowing over the next couple of days. I don't know how accurate that is, but it feels like snow is coming. I got into my car in the morning today, and it was 2 degrees, and I can't remember the last time it was 2 degrees in my car or outside. Um, Jono said to can't remember who though. Look, I don't know. I don't think, as far as I know, Guehi is not a done deal. If you're Mark Guehi, you're thinking, you know what? I know all the talk is he's a really good lad, really professional, and all that sort of stuff. But let's be honest, money talks as well, and it'll be very, very interesting to see that Mark Guehi just says and sticks to his guns. It might turn out to be that he ends up at Liverpool because Crystal Palace just simply don't want to let go. But if Crystal Palace are open to letting him go in January, then you've got Liverpool who obviously have to come. How many parties are willing to come? And I've just got a sneaky feeling Liverpool, if they really want Mark Guehi, and I know all the talk is about the opportunistic signing, and all that sort of stuff. But I've just got the feeling Liverpool's stance might have changed. Why? Because of other parties coming to the table and offering a signing on fee and offering a bigger signing on fee. And it just then depends on Mark Guehi, doesn't it? How bad does he want Liverpool Football Club? But when other parties are on the table, it just complicates the situation, doesn't it? So it'll be interesting to see if he's given his word from last summer, saying, "I don't care who comes in. I've given you my word, and that's good enough for me. I'm coming when Crystal Palace let me go because I want to leave respectfully, and I've got respect for the club and the fans and all that sort of stuff." Then you know what, my respect for Margehi will increase even further, and I'll proper give him his flowers if he does that. So let's see, let's see. But if you're a club like Liverpool who don't generally pay 10, 15 million pounds for a player, or 20 million pounds, it could even be for a player that is, running out of contract in the summer, then it might get difficult. It might get difficult, but I think Liverpool really want Mark Guehi, and they probably will have to pay it if they want him. If they want him, that's my gut feeling. And I think I'm still sticking. The moment Mark Guehi's deal fell through, I think I tweeted then that Mark Guehi will become a Liverpool player in January. So that's my take on it. But I don't think it's a done deal. I really don't, unless someone really credible comes out, with all due respect to the guys coming out with it at the moment. I'm just quickly starting talking of the cough. If you could buy one player, who would you buy? Wow. Cypher. This is tough. Who would you buy, Bastoni or Guehi? I would go Bastoni. I go for Bastoni. Watching what I need in this is a bit of lemon and lime. So I'm glad you said smash the lime button. Yeah, I need a bit of lemon and lime in this. I've got honey in it, I got ginger in it, and God knows what else the missus put into this. But a bit of lemon and lime will do nicely. Well, smash the lime button, people, and get well soon, everyone. Whoever's feeling ill like me, get well soon. Um, go to anything Anfield. It's on there. What's on there, buddy? Is it the who said the Guehi deal is nearly done? Um, I don't know. I don't know. Who would you choose? Let me see. Ask the chat the question. If you were given, doesn't regardless of transfer fee, just the player. If you had a choice to bring one of them in and only one, who would you choose? Bastoni or Guehi? Guehi, they both play. I don't know what Inter Milan are playing these days. Um, but you know, traditionally over the last 3-4 years, they've been playing a back five. But I think Bastoni is more of a specialized profile. Guehi might be more versatile, but does it make him better? Probably not. Selection goes neither. Wow. Ash. Um, I'm just starting a few questions because there's a lot to get through. Here's a question that I see a lot on Twitter and on YouTube and on WhatsApp. Asim, why isn't Slot playing Kirkez as the same Kirkez we saw at Bournemouth, man? The problem that we have, and the reason why we have, I think it's easier said than done, is because on one side, last year, we had Trent, who was the passer. And on the other side of Trent, on the left-hand side of Trent, it was Kanate, who's not a great passer, but it masked the situation. It was a really good partnership. Van Dijk and Robertson was a really good partnership as well. Robbo is decent on the ball, not great on the ball. But what the before Slot came in, we saw Robertson flying up and down that flank. But over the last 18 months, he's lost his legs, and since Slot has come, he's been using him in a third centre back role. So when people talk about Kirk as being in this role, it's nothing different to Robertson last season. You just go watch the games. Liverpool on the ball, Arnie Slot, and people talk about his principles. On the ball, principles are generally positional play principles with fluidity in the right moments and the right areas as well. But Robertson played that. But the reason why we masked it or we weren't talking about it is because we still generally had, if it was a 4-2 build-up on the big day, which generally it was still Trent getting us out of that press with a pass into the number 10 on the right side of midfield or the pivot. So we had connections to the pivot, whether it was a single pivot. Arnie Slot loved the 4-1-5 option where Ryan Gravenberg was receiving as a lone pivot. People are talking about like Ryan Gravenberg receiving in a lone pivot this season. It happened last season many, many times. Why weren't we talking about it then? It's a really good principle. But and with the number 2-8, especially against a team that was setting off you were trying to create at least parity in the last line with a 5 at the back, or even 4-4-2, where Liverpool had Virgil van Dijk and Trent in the first line of in build up. But the reason why we're talking about it now is because we've lost the right back, and now 2 out of those 3 in still the same principle that Arnie Slot is using in the first phase is still the 3-2, same as last year. But the reason why we're talking about it is because Kirkez and Kanate are not good enough. If Kirkez goes, Bradley and Kanate are not good enough. And Virgil van Dijk, as we saw against City, is targeted and nullified. And then, the ball is channeled and funneled towards the right-hand side. And you can easily funnel it to Kirkez and press him on that side as well. So if he just lets Kirkez go, then you're building up with it. If you still build up with the 3, Bradley, again, I don't believe is good enough to do the Trent role, different profiles. And if you let both fullbacks go, then you've got Virgil van Dijk and Kanate. And if Virgil van Dijk is being nullified in a 3-2 build-up, imagine how much he's nullified in a 2-3 build-up. So it's easier said than done, where you simply say, let Kirkes go. Now, if your left back is more of a carrier, more of a marauder, and doesn't want to get involved in the first phase in build-up, generally speaking, your DM comes and takes that role. So how many times have we seen Thiago, who was a pivotal role when he was playing, and splitting the left back and the left centre back, in coming in between Robbo and Virgil van Dijk and controlling the game from midfield and going in there. Curtis Jones really does it really well. But if we've got our double pivot in Ryan Gravenberch doing that, or splitting the centre back and letting the two fullbacks go, and effectively playing three at the back with on the ball with Ryan Gravenberch in deep areas, I've talked about it many times. It's again easier said than done, especially if a team is defending with one attacker. Do you really want to build up with the three with your DM splitting the centre back? When the pressure isn't on the first line. You want to create the overloads in midfield, and you want to create the overloads on the back line, on the last line. So it's all these sort of statements, and I'm not picking you out, WM5466 or whatever your real name is. Don't get me wrong, please don't take it the wrong way. It's easier said than done, because if that generally splitting the centre back in Ryan Gravenberch is generally done when a team is set up in a 4-4-2 press or a 5-3-2 press, where they're slightly aggressive and they've got really two good pressers from the front, active strikers. And one of the reasons why the DM is coming into that role is to relieve a bit of pressure, and asking those strikers or the pivots who are if you're going to man, is, are you going to come into this space and track me that deep? If you do, then we'll create space in the middle. Or if you don't, then we've got some breathing space to conduct attack. So, but the main point is even if we do that as a default build up, regardless of what I said of those scenarios that it suits, and just choose it as to go and give the breathing space and the license to our fullbacks, is Ryan Gravenberch is a progressive midfielder. We're seeing him now as teams go man to man against us, or even when they sit off against us. We're seeing Szoboszlai many times as the deep midfielder. And why is the reason? What's the reason for that? Is because he needs to go and progress the ball from deep. One, he's not getting it from the right side to back on a consistent level. Two, he's not getting it from the right back. So he has to go there and aid build up, and also make sure our number 10 gets the ball. So it's Liverpool's problems are not just on the build-up. Yes, I believe it's the foundation, but we've also got other profile problems, just like the pace and power on the wings. So just to stop on Kirkes, I think we need, and this is the reason why I talk about, I think in the first radical move I would make is to control. We're not going to control a game by physical power. It's not going to happen. We've just got one. We don't have the tall lads in midfield or across the team. Bradley, Frimpong, Kirkes, Robbo are not the biggest fullbacks as well. So, and one of the reasons why is maybe we've conceded a few goals, a lot more goals on set pieces. I think the only team or teams that have conceded more set piece goals than us this season is Wolves and Nottingham Forest, as far as I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone in the chat. So I believe that is the core problem, and what the reason why I'm saying Curtis Jones at right back is it's not ideal. It's not. But Curtis Jones is seen as a retainer, and he is very good at circulating the ball. Not the most progressive, but in the last year, to be fair to him, he has improved in that. His carries that will always be there, whether he's right back, whether he's left midfield, whether he's right-sided midfield. His progressive carries and will always be there. But if I see him in right back situations, he'll practically be playing in the last line. Just go watch that Galatasaray game, or was it the Frankfurt game? It was away from home in the Liverpool in the green kit. Who were they in the green kit with? I think it was Galatasaray. Just go watch that and just see where our left back was and just see where Curtis Jones was picking up the ball. What I was just talking about, the Thiago role, the Tony Cruz role. He is very, very comfortable at receiving, even if it's an aggressive press or it's a settled structure from the opposition. He's very, very comfortable. But if it's someone like him will make sure teams like Manchester City, we don't have to do it against the bottom 10 teams. Don't get me wrong, I don't want him there. But on the big day and against decent teams who have got decent presses and really good intensity from the front, you need to send them a message that's saying, you know what, we've got ball players in our first line. So if you really want to get really aggressive, we've got a pass, we've got a connection from the right back to the pivot, but also we've got ball manipulators who can come inside and then connect with their right side to centre back and create triangles from deep and then bounce off from there. This is what Liverpool lack. I'm not saying it's a complete perfect solution. I'm not saying that. But what it will allow is Kirkes to get a bit higher and don't be involved in the first phase. But that's my first phase of the radicalism, because I know it's not ideal. I know that. But the second phase of that would be Mark Guehi to come in January, and then I'd play Frimpong or Bradley at right back. Why? Is because if I've got Guehi at the left back position, I can practically, and this is the reason why I don't like the 5-3-2 system, the 3-4-3 system, because I believe, although it might involve our fullbacks more, I think it's still a suboptimal. I don't want to lose a midfielder or an attacker, but I want to have that solid base, the 3-2 base to build on from a back four. And if Guehi comes in January, I would move Curtis Jones back into his normal position and fight for a midfield position with the rest of the lads, but play Bradley at right back, and then I'll practically let him to start in those wing back or natural wing positions, higher up effectively. That's the word I was looking for. But it will allow Liverpool to have a solid formation, connect with the double pivot of a Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, if you like. But you've got Guehi at left back position. It's the same position that he's been playing for Crystal Palace for many, many years. So that is what I want. Again, I don't want Guehi to be left back every single time, but it's a really physical league. We're not going to suddenly start bullying teams and winning every single corner and every single set piece. So how do you do it? You keep a bit of the ball. If you have to entice the press, you have to be better at it, at bypassing the press. But if teams sit off, then they're not comfortable in saying, you know what, you've got Kanate, you've got Bradley, and you've got Kirkes. We know on a consistent basis they are not going to break lines. So we're happy to sit off and we're happy to stay compact and make sure that the ball isn't coming into the likes of Szoboszlai if he's back to goal in the number 10 position. And more importantly, if Florian Wirtz is floating around. So that is the conundrum that Liverpool are facing at the moment. And if teams do get a bit aggressive, Liverpool just don't have a way out, and it just have a simple way out of letting just go. And Liverpool have gone long many times. It's just a common way of trying to bypass a man-to-man press. Liverpool have been faced with a man-to-man press for 6 months now, generally speaking. It's a man-to-man press from the keeper. The moment they come into the second phase, you drop off in a low block. There's nothing in a mid-block when it comes to Liverpool, even if they lost Trent, because that was the blueprint in how to deal with Liverpool for the first half of the season last season. So that is the big concern for Liverpool. And when I'm going back to the finishing off the man-to-man press, is you see Florian Wirtz, and I feel sorry for him. You go check how many times Liverpool start with a keeper. So they've got a keeper. It's very common. It's not just a Liverpool tactic to use as a +1, if you like, in the back line, whether it's a 3-2 or a 3-1. Or just go back to the City game. We don't need to go many times for the keeper. Liverpool had a 7v5 what do you call it, a numerical advantage compared to City's press. City didn't go into a man-to-man press. They didn't need to, because they know where the ball was going, and then they squeezed. So that is more concerning. That is more concerning. And you go and check out Florian Wirtz's average position, especially when Liverpool's keeper had it. He tried to aid build up many, many times where he was the eighth man. Where who was the right back on the day? I can't even remember. City's right back is gone. But Florian Wirtz, who was starting on the left wing on paper, when Liverpool had it, go check Wirtz's average position when Liverpool's keeper had the ball. It was so central. It was so deep. It's because he was wanting the ball. Mateus Nunes. He was wanting the ball, and Mateus Nunes wasn't following him. Liverpool's number 10, or when you go as a number when you face with a man-to-man press, generally speaking, it's the number 10 that goes into really deep areas because he's trying to drag a centre-back out. And many times that centre-back goes. But Liverpool's left winger was doing the number 10 position a bit naturally because Florian Wirtz is naturally number 10. I get that. But he was going really, really deep. But ultimately, Liverpool couldn't find, never mind the first spare man, they couldn't find the second spare man. And that just shows you, it's an indictment of how bad Liverpool's build-up is in terms of getting out of the press. The structure was there. Liverpool's structure was there. And the moment it falls is because those players are not getting that ball in the conventional area. That is the big problem. And that's what I was talking about in the show with what's his channel? Man like Matt. Big up to the channel. I really enjoyed the show as well. This is what I was trying to explain on there as well. That Liverpool, like the likes of Szoboszlai and Gravenberch, have to facilitate that. And how do they facilitate that? Is receiving outside the block. What were we talking about? Ryan Gravenberch splitting the centre backs at times when he needs to, is because he's trying to relieve the pressure on the first line. That is the idea of Szoboszlai going, receiving outside the block, and Ryan Gravenberch receiving outside the block. At times, I'll provide you some screenshots. At times, Szoboszlai was in a right back position with Bradley slightly higher. Again, trying to aid build up, but they're not supermen. They are not supermen. So this is the reason why we have to look at the crux of the problem. The crux of the problem is Liverpool don't have the personnel. Nobody was talking about the structure last season. Why? Nobody. And let me put a caveat there. I can also provide some times the Liverpool structure isn't great. There is too much fluidity, 100%, where it's not forced upon, from the opposition, 100%. But I don't know how I got onto this subject from this question, but you know me. What did I say? We go from A to Z very, very easily, but it's all linked. It is all linked. And just to finish off, last season's Liverpool's structure was fine. Positional play principles with certain amount of fluidity. 3-2, 4-2, 4-1-5, coming from the 4-3-3. It was good. It was good. But Liverpool have lost certain parts of their build-up. And now they're struggling. They're struggling. And it's not a coincidence why teams are now targeting that right-hand side. And yeah, when I mentioned this about a month ago, I don't want to mention his name, someone on Twitter said Liverpool's right-hand side has always been targeted. Yeah, I think he just left it at that. So when I was saying Liverpool's right-hand side has been targeted in the space of what's his name, Kanate and Bradley, he thought this is exactly same of teams targeting that right-hand side as how Liverpool were targeting off the ball. Liverpool were never ever targeted on the ball when Trent was playing. Why? Because Trent was a unicorn. Trent could pass. Trent could play any pass. I always talk about that quotation that it sticks out in my mind. Harry Redknapp, when he's talks about Xabi Alonso, and he was asked the question which player was really hard to press in midfield. And he said Jabi Alonso, because if you got tight with him, he'd just whip a ball over the defense, and a striker or an attacking winger would be on it, and he'd have that whip. He'd have any type of pass. If you sit off, he'd have the line breakers, and that's what Trent was. Trent was as good as anyone that we've seen him in the Premier League. So I said to that person that don't think this is Liverpool being targeted off the ball, where once Trent goes into those really high positions and Salah's trade off, whether you're Klopp, whether you're Slot, and then the space is vacated the moment we lose the ball, and our rest defense is not great, and our pivot in those years where Henderson lost his legs, Fabinho lost his legs, it was okay. It was a win-win. It's not a win-win situation, but it's the risk and reward, wasn't it? Liverpool, got plenty of output from that. They lost goals from that, but it was their strength, but it was also their weakness, so to say. But Liverpool were never targeted on the ball. So how can you say Liverpool have always been targeted? The right-hand side has always been targeted. It's a completely different thing. And for people to come out like that, and terms like that, and statements like that, I want to remain respectful. But I was very, very surprised that this is just an obvious point. How the hell are you saying this? So, yeah. And this is what I meant about the irony is, yes, 1v1 duels, not duels, the counter pressing from Trent was fine. In terms of winning those battles, the appetite to defend, it wasn't there from Trent. Was he the worst defender? No. Was he the greatest defender? No. Was he an average defender? Probably. You can call him below par. We'll go with below par. But when we had the ball and when we lost it with Trent, our rest defense was still better. Generally speaking. Any right back who goes into really advanced areas, when you're working on the cutback from really, really advanced in, when, for example, when Salah gets the ball from a deeper position, he plays that channel ball, and I call it the KDB run from the right side of midfielder, or the underlapping right back, and you go there, and for the cutback or for the striker to finish. When we lose the ball there, it doesn't matter who you are in a right back position, you're not going to have. Then it's up to the pivot to come across and protect you. But the irony is, as much stick as Trent got, because you're a really good passer from a static position, it's common sense. If you can do something from a deeper position and you don't need to go and risk your position in higher channels, then the rest defense, the moment we lose the ball, it's a better structure. And this is the reason why, go check Trent's counter pressing stats in terms of turnovers in midfield. The moment Liverpool missed the ball, lost the ball. Yes, it was dictated by the manager in Klopp as well, where to make sure you need to be in a really good position, especially if a manager is so highly principled or winning the ball winning the ball in high positions. But Liverpool's right back, and you make sure if you got passes and technical security in the back line, not only you're going to make sure that you send a message out to the opposition that if dare to press us, because we've got manipulators in the back line. But we also, in settled play and in the second phase of play and in the third phase of play, we will look better. And I go back to that Milan game. I go back to that Preston game. And I saw it. You know what? Fair play to Preston. Their press box. That was the first time I was in the press box. But the position I had was unbelievable. Proper old school ground, and the hospitality that we received that day. Honestly, Preston, I've never been back, but a friend of mine is a coach there, and he always invites me, so I need to go. But I had a brilliant view, and I saw it. Liverpool were overcommitting on that right hand side. Is because they don't have the passes. For Liverpool to construct an attack, Bradley has to be the carrier. Salah has to come out deep. Salah has to come on and go on the halfway line and play the ball into midfield, where it's that first time ball of he tracks the left back, and then Bradley has to come. That is Liverpool's build-up. That is Liverpool's build-up. It's too, when Liverpool try to construct an attack, it's too. I don't know what the term is. I really don't. But it's a bit too wild, and it has to be 100 million, because if you're running 100 mile an hour, you need a perfect touch. You need a perfect pass. It's really high risk, and that is one of the reasons why that Liverpool's attacks break down on that side. So we need to make sure we have proper control in our build-up, and that's what the great sides do. That's what the erratic. Yeah, that's the right word. Thanks, Wade. So yeah, that is the crux of the problem to our right hand side, on and off the ball. Exactly this, Paul. It has to be very quick and perfectly played. And when the games are stretched, you don't mind that. When you're behind, you don't mind that, because it has to be quick, because the teams are in a low block most occasions anyway against Liverpool, but especially when Liverpool are 1 and 2-0 down. So you have to engineer, pace into the game. So yeah, that is the crux of the problem. And I'm sorry if I was going off a tangent. But yeah, I was very, very surprised when people told me that the right side has always been a target for Liverpool when Liverpool have got the ball. That is not right, people. Never, ever. Yes, Alex. Hope you well, brother. What time is it in Australia? About 9 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning. You know what? I might have to stay up because the Ashes is starting soon. I've fell out of the love of Test cricket, not Test cricket. If I'm going to watch something, it'll be Test cricket, but proper series. England, India, Australia. I'm a Pakistan fan, but I'll be honest with you, I fell out of love with Pakistani cricket a long, long time ago. But if big game is on, I'll watch it. If the family's watching it, but I'm still a purist. And if I was going to watch cricket, I'd watch Test cricket, especially Ashes. And I thought the England-India series in the summer was very, very good, high quality as well. So I'll be watching a bit of the Ashes. Are you gonna get to a game? Are you into cricket, Alex? Or you're not into 5-day stuff, and you don't even get a result. Let me just catch up with the comments, because I went off on a monologue. 6:45. England are going to get hammered. Wow. Do you think so? Not got a great record, but I'm sure I saw one of the Australian fast bowlers. What's his name? He's gone. He got injured. And Cummings is not going to be fit as well, apparently. Ash, big up Ash. Super chat. End of summer 2026. Are any of these still here? Robo, I'm going to predict end of 2026. No. Gomez, no. Kanate, I still think he signs a contract. Call me deluded. That's not based on any information. It's just a gut feeling. I think somehow Liverpool get that done. Endo, no. Bajitic, probably no. McAllister's a difficult one, Ash. How many years has McAllister got left on his contract? Let me check. McAllister, Liverpool contract expiry. If someone's quicker than me, let me know, please. McAllister, 2028. So 3 years. When Avi told me that he's going to go to Real Madrid, I don't necessarily think he's going to go to Real Madrid, but the more he plays, if he doesn't sort his form out, I think he might have a problem. Maybe that's recency bias, probably. But I think the way the league is going, I think Avi was onto something. Um, especially, I think Liverpool are looking at. I think in the next 12 months, Liverpool will either bring Adam Wharton or Anderson. And Anderson's stocks are rising in the Premier League. Anderson's stocks are rising. And if especially Liverpool fans are wanting Ekitike and Isak to play in a 5-3-2 or a 4-4-2, you can't McAllister in the two then. If Liverpool's long-term formation, and I don't think Liverpool's long-term formation, it might fall on a 4-4-2, but I don't believe Liverpool's plan was 4-4-2 when we bought the likes of Florian Wirtz and the two number nines. I just don't think so. Why? Is because I don't believe that Arnie Slot sat in that room with that PowerPoint presentation to Florian Wirtz and said, I'm going to make you the focal point of the team, but I'm going to play you on the left-hand side. If that conversation took place, then we would have seen Florian Wirtz on the left-hand side, playing from the left-hand side in the number 10 position, of course, from that position in pre-season. We would have seen it early on season. And I think Liverpool have been surprised at the early development and the quality of Ekitike. And Ekitike, to his credit, has made that position a bit of a headache, and probably obviously down to the physical nature of Isak as well, because he can't stay fit at the moment. So he's naturally given a headache, and that's why the conversation has started that Ekitike, and rightly so, to be fair, has to stay in this team. So Liverpool fans have started looking at 4-4-2 options. I genuinely believe Liverpool have just fallen in that, where it's a problem created by Ekitike and Isak. So if someone told me that Liverpool are going to go from a 4-3-3 and suddenly are looking at a 4-4-2 option with Mohamed Salah in the team, I don't believe that. No chance. But going back to, if it is a 4-4-2 long term, if we fall on it, whether it's by design, it doesn't really matter now. If we do long term post Muhammad, then I don't think we see McAllister in midfield. And what it would require then is legs, technical ability, footballing ability, box to box ability, mopping up ability, connecting with the build up and the backline ability, press resistant ability. So yeah, Liverpool would attack in a 4-4-2 and defend in a 4-4-2. So how they would find a position for McAllister in a 4-4-2, no chance. No chance. I just can't see it. He just doesn't have the legs. Doesn't have the legs, especially when even though if you've got more workman-like wingers. So how that would work is Semenyo, for example, on the right-hand side, and what's his name, Florian Wirtz. If you guys think that was the conversation, Florian Wirtz from the left-hand side, Ekitike and Isak, and then you've got two midfielders. No way McAllister can play in that midfield. No chance. What we do is you'd have someone like Anderson. I think the running ability, intensity from him, I think Anderson would work in a 4-3-3, in a 4-2-3-1. I really, really like Elliot Anderson. And I think Liverpool are taking note. And he's causing some noise in the Premier League. Let me tell you that. Wijnaldum, what a player. Now, there's a player who could play in that position. Wijnaldum. Anderson, that is the problem, Dylan. £100 million. Wow. A contract up until 2029, is it? I can't see Liverpool paying 100 million. Let's be honest. But how much would Adam Wharton be? How much would he be? 70 million? Easy. How many years has Adam Wharton got left on his contract? Someone please tell me. Paul, another question. Asim, do you think Slot's stubbornness will ultimately be his downfall? Wharton's got 2 years. Okay. Yeah, 65 to 70 million. I agree with that then. Stubbornness. He is stubborn at the moment in terms of his 4-4-2 mid block. That trade off, I believe, especially on the big day, needs to go. I called it about a month and a half ago. I got pelters. It wasn't anti Salah. I think you guys know how much love this channel as a channel, as a collective, has for Muhammad Salah, and me on an individual basis, how much love and respect I have for the king. But I still think he can be the king by dropping 5-10 yards, especially on the big day. And that is on the manager. The manager has to call it. He needs to get Muhammad Salah in a room and say, look, on the big day, I want you to be 5-10 yards deeper, and Bradley gets a bit of support and we're more compact. But the other thing is Liverpool's 4-4-2 is too passive. It's too passive. The moment that our transition from 4-4-2 to man press, one, it comes too late, and two, it's not good enough overall. You just watch Arsenal's 4-4-2 transitioning into a man-to-man press. That's what you call intensity. That's what you call working as a collective. And some people will say, look, Arne Slot just hasn't had the time this summer, especially with the influx of new players coming in. That he just hasn't had the time. Yeah, I buy that. But Arne Slot, even last year with Klopp's players, his 4-4-2 and his 4-2-4 was just too passive. Was just too passive. And in the big games, when he had trouble against him, one, creating overloads with against Arnie Slot's 4-4-2-4 mid block, 4-4-2 or slash 4-2-4 is very, very easy. Just go watch that Chelsea game last season. Arnie Slot talked about it all season. He said, we might have got 3 points in that game, but Chelsea were the better team. Many, many games, when he changed it, man to man, Liverpool always looked the better team. Arnie Slot's Liverpool have always looked better. So I think that is stubbornness as well. It's a principle that he has. He's always likes that +1 in the defensive line, and he thinks he can commit one more with that Salah. But against good teams, they bypass that. They bypass that. Just go watch that game again against City. I keep referring to it because they highlighted so many problems of Liverpool's on and off the ball. One, it was a passive press, and two, when we were in a mid block, it wasn't great. It was a half-hearted press. Players going alone. So and the reason why we talk about City is when Salah goes from that 4-2-4 position where you technically got an extra man in the press, is players like Guardiola just turn on their weaker foot in inverted commas, come inside, evade the press, and give it to the left back. That's what teams do, and that's what good players do as well. So yeah, and this is the reason why I want better technical players in my defensive line. So I want to see Liverpool do that as well. Yeah, smash the like, people. Come on. There's 220 of you here. Smash the like. I'm ill. Honestly, I feel like I'm coming down with something. But I thought I can't cancel. Let's go live. It's the international break, but we have to keep the content going. Is Allison back in training? I don't know, Dylan. I can ask now. If I get a reply, um, I'll let you know during the show. Let me just quickly text. Is Ali back in training? Um, yeah, this is what my mum tells me. Dylan, this is what my mum tells me. I need to sort my immune system out. Harvey should have gone to Germany. Chris, yeah, actually, you're right. I saw a graphic. I think he was trading alone, though. Yeah, 100%. You guys are right. I think Liverpool tweeted something as well. Um, uh, let me just quickly. 2 seconds, people. Right. This is a great question by Ash, by the way, and a tough question. You can have any right back in the Premier League, Asim, apart from Timber. Who would it be? Wow. Timber would be obviously my first choice, and that's why Ash has been clever with that question. Oh. Many people put that lad, uh, Quade, whatever his name is, Brentford, is it? The long throw. Livermento, I love him. I would probably go with Livermento, but it's a massive question mark. Reece James is obviously um Munoz, I think, is more of a wing back. Ben White, again, injuries. Reece James, brilliant, technically secure. I've not seen enough of this Coyote guy. If Livermento sorts his injury problems out, I would go with him. I would go with him. Gusto is another shout. Bradley, I'm sorry. Look, I hope he proves me wrong. If we don't in this system, I don't think Bradley is good enough, and this is the reason why I want Liverpool to make sure at least in the yeah, I shall probably agree with you. Poro, look, Poro is rash at times, but you can't deny his delivery and you can't deny his on the ball quality. Um, and he would be a creative piece from deep areas, but he does have his weaknesses, and I do see a lot of rash behavior from Poro. But in terms of on the ball ability, he's probably just as good as anyone. Poro is 94th percentile in progressive passes. There you go. And what I was talking about, Curtis Jones at right back, you go check, and I'm gonna do that show. I got my admin to create me a graphic today, which I can just quickly. I won't put it on screen, but it just shows you how progressive and the carrier Curtis Jones will always be from midfield. He can be a carrier from right back. He's not going to provide the intensity, but I do like it. That's my phase one of radicalism. Curtis Jones at right back to control the game better and connect with the sixes better. So we have to build up in a central progression is the way forward, just like last season. But we've got a footballer at right back who can connect with the double pivot. And go check his progressive passes this season. Let me just quickly his progressive passes according to FBF Ref, which is a brilliant website. Progressive passes 91 percentile in the last 365 days. There you go. Pass completions 98%. Passes completed short and medium in the 92 and 97% percentile. Yes, again, it's not ideal, but I I think that's the phase one. And the phase two, like I said on Twitter earlier, would Curtis Jones back in midfield, Guehi at left back in January. Then I'd play. I wouldn't play Curtis Jones right back every game against a low block. We probably don't need it. But I really believe that is the way. And look at Manchester City. They've got effectively a midfielder and another midfielder, a left back and right back. But they're good technicians. They're good footballers. O'Reilly is just coming to the England squad. He can play on the inside. He can play on the outside, as we saw. He was holding width for many times against Liverpool last weekend. So if Guardiola can do it, if Manchester City can do it, why can't Liverpool do it? Why? Curtis Jones is good enough footballer. Is it ideal? No, it's not. But if it increases our control, we're not going to control a game by just our team becoming a lot more physical, a lot bigger, a lot stronger. It's not going to happen. So try to at least nullify that problem, is to control the game better. So yeah, that is one way. And if you want to invert with the right back, you can do, and then the Kirkes can go higher as well if need be. So you've got the extra man in midfield as well. So I would That would be phase one. Phase two would be Guehi at left back up until January to the summer, with Bradley at right back, and then phase three would be you go bring a left-footed, left-sided centre back. Whether that would be Lukeba, Bastoni, Schlotterbeck, they must be good footballers. They must be progressive footballers, and they must be ball manipulators. And if they're not, you'll have a problem. Right. Skip. No. I've not seen the links on him, and I'm not gonna lie. I've not seen a lot of Bayern this year. I don't watch a lot of Bayern anyway, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna answer that question from Hussein on Twitter. Lineup. What do you think the lineup's gonna be? Are you guys asking for a lineup so early? Let's see which lads come back from international duty first. And I want you to get involved, chat. Who should be Liverpool's top 5 transfer targets? I guess you have to put a player like Iwobi destroyed Jones at right back last season v Fulham. Yes, Alex, but go watch that game. I think I was on that game. Yeah, it was the game that Robertson got sent off. Yeah, I think it was. But it was that 4-4-2 mid block again, wasn't it? It was the 4-2-4. And what did Silva do on the day? He created overloads on that side, and I think it was McAllister on that side, or was it Gravenberg? I can't remember. Yeah, it was Gravenberg actually. But they created, and what was happening is with what's the left back called? Lewis? Not Lewis. Oh, gone. What's Fulham's left back goal called, man? The pacey one. I'll wait for the chat to tell me. Come on, people. Robinson. Thank you very much, SJ. Yes, that's what was happening. You say Iwobi destroyed Jones on that day, but Iwobi generally was coming inside, asking the right back the question, are you going to follow me? But what was happening, it was confusing. Just like what Iwobi did, what Doku did on the weekend, as far as I remember. And it was the overloads on that side. And Gravenberg didn't know who to pick up. Was he picking up one of the midfielders? Was he picking up Iwobi, who was inverting from the wide area? And then Robinson was going at, what do you call him? Curtis Jones, who was also confused as to follow Iwobi or get someone on the inside. It is and what was happening is Salah was being Salah as well. It is a trade-off. So you've got so many ways of going, and that's where Liverpool's right-hand side has always been targeted with on the inside from the left back. That's one way of testing Liverpool, isn't it? Where you don't mind, you do run the risk of Liverpool winning the ball, whether it's midfield and going at Salah, and Salah doesn't have a left back, but it's also very brave, and the reward is there if you're good at it. And I think this 2-2 goal, the 2-1 goal was created like that. And I think maybe we were down to 10 men at the time, but the principle was the same. Create the overloads behind Salah, and with the inverted winger, connect with Iwobi, connect with the overlapping fullback, and cross with the striker. And I can't remember who scored. It wasn't the thingy. Anyway, it don't really matter. That's going to trouble me who scored. But yeah, that's what was happening. I know it's not ideal, Alex. I accept that. But what is this other solution? I can't see it. Muniz scored that 2-1 goal. I got it before the chat. Right. Okay, people, I'm going to answer that question now. I guess you have to stick in Guehi and Semenyo because they've been linked with us so much. And get involved, people. Ash has already given me. You know what, Ash? Ooh, I have got one difference. Sorry, Guehi and Semenyo. Just so I was talking about that, you have to go with them because the amount of links that we've seen recently, and the good players. I think Semenyo is also looked at Liverpool as a target right now. Is I think they're taking Mohamed Salah. I know Mohamed Salah has not been great like everybody else, but I think they do genuinely believe that they will be short after when he leaves. So I think Semenyo will play on the right hand side when Salah goes, and then Elise I think is a summer target for Liverpool. He's the dream signing for Liverpool. I'm not a fan. Maybe football changes, as we know, but I'm still there where I want a left-footed right winger. I just like the balance. I want my wide players to be a really good goal threat. And now you probably say Semenyo, because he's both-footed, he's a goal threat from both sides. I get that. But I just think the right-sided, the left footer, especially in the modern game, I believe is better balance. But that might change if, especially what we were talking about earlier, the 4-4-2. If you've got the two big lads, not necessarily in the box, because we do know, especially Agatike, and less so with Isak, do like to go in channels and get involved. But if you've got two big lads and you want someone like Semenyo, more workmanlike, more intensity, big physicality, athlete, then you've got Semenyo on the right hand side. But Elise would love, because he is a natural replacement for a Salah. Brilliant delivery, left-footed, can cut inside, can play in the number 10 role, can play on the outside, can take a man on. He is the natural replacement. I was talking about Michael Elise for many not years, but a long time when he was at Palace. But the problem Liverpool had is Mohamed Salah, to his credit, never got injured and he always performed. So they had to give that a miss. But I think Elise, the story hasn't ended with him and Premier League football. I think Liverpool will definitely, opinion based, obviously, will go for him in this summer. So that will mean Bastoni is another one. Ash, I agree with. That's where I differ. Recently, I think Liverpool will go for Anderson. Whether they paid £100 million, I don't know. Probably not. But my opinion is Liverpool's target should be those five. Those four that you gave me: Bastoni, Guehi, Semenyo, Elise, and Anderson. But let me know what you guys think. Please share your five, and then we'll see what you guys come up with. Who's the next vice captain and captain? Great question. Big up, Alex. Next vice captain. Robertson is gonna go, isn't he? It's a brilliant question, vice captain. Soboslai is gonna be in this conversation, isn't he? Is he captain material? Of course he is. Captain from his younger days. Captain right now for his nation. He has to be in the mix, like Paul says. I'm trying to think who is gonna take it. Someone, McAllister, I won't give that, because I don't think it is his long term position in the team is questionable. I think Dylan, I agree. Gay's a shout. Allison, no, because I think he's gonna leave in the next 12 to 18 months. Would you be surprised if this is Alisson's last year? I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. So I can't. When I think Alex is talking long term, so I don't think you can see Allison as a long term option. Look, he might stay for another 3 4 years, and then it makes sense whether it's a captain or a vice captain. I don't like my keeper as a captain. I just don't think I want. I'm not saying Alisson doesn't have an impact on the game, but a vocal impact. I want my leader to be in the center of the midfield or center of the back four, leading his troops, seeing the game, whether it's from a central position in midfield or the defensive area as well. So that's my personal preference. I think it's a more of a foreign thing, isn't it? Where the keeper gets the captaincy, where you saw like some Buffon and these guys being the captain. I think that's more of a presence type of thing, more of an aura, rather than impacting the changing room, or the game on the pitch. If I'm honest. Um, but yeah, let's say if Allison leaves, then Kronberg, no. Gakpo, no. Is Gakpo's long-term position in this team guaranteed? If we bring Elise, who's that first choice? Is it Semenyo? Is it Gakpo? You know, it's it's very very tight between them two, isn't it? Who else is there? I'm trying to think of a player. I think Dylan. I think or Paul. It was. I think that's a shout. Guehi. If he comes and he performs well, I think it's a shout for vice captaincy. You won't get it straight away, I guess. Probably he needs to perform for the next 2 years the moment he comes in. So, yeah, it's a difficult one, really, really difficult. Um, our strikers, Gakpo, no, I don't see him as a leader, if I'm honest. Trent. Yeah, Van Dijk could stay longer anyway, but we're just talking hypothetically, Nicola. Um, who would it be? If Van Dijk leaves, Alisson leaves, Robertson leaves, Salah leaves, that leaves Soboslai, doesn't it? I think Soboslai will definitely have to be captain then. Vice captain, I don't know. We'll put it to a toss of the coin. Okay. Question. Last few questions, people. It's been an hour and 7 minutes, and then we can call it a day. Question asked if Robo, Shimikas, Kanate, and Gomez all leave in the summer. Shimikas has already left, no? Then buying only two centre backs in Guehi and Bastoni and Shota won't be enough. Do you think we bring also a left back? I think Liverpool at the end of next summer will bring. Yeah, look, to answer your question, I think, yeah, we will. Who would our centre backs be then? If Kanate goes and Gomez goes, it'll be Guehi if he comes in. It'll be Leone, who's coming back from a long-term injury, and Van Dijk. That's it. So we will be short, 100%. But no, you're saying Bastoni as well. Yeah, but you could get away with it because we would still have Bradley and Frimpong and Kirkes, and these guys as well. So I like five centre backs, five proper centre backs. And, yeah, you wouldn't have Gomez and Kanate who got a question mark, but Leone's coming back from a long-term injury. He's still a kid. And I want him to develop. So, yeah, next summer, I want to see Liverpool. That's what I was saying. I think Robertson might leave. But Liverpool's two contrasting profiles from that left-sided role or position will be for someone like who else is a left-sided centre-back, a Calafiori profile, a Nkapie type of profile. Who could it be? A Lukeba maybe. Is Lukeba really progressive? I need to check it. Who else is there? Left-sided. Schlotterbeck is an option. Bastoni is an option. Obviously, if you've got the thinking that we were talking about, Guehi is the same principle. So yeah, let's just say Bastoni is that, and then Bastoni can come inside the moment Van Dijk hangs up his boots. I think Liverpool will have that profile. I really do, and it'll give the right-sided right back a lot more freedom. Uh, Bastoni is not mobile enough for me. I've seen Bastoni many times maraud into overlapping centre backs. That was an Inter Milan thing, wasn't it? Uh, Overlapping centre backs in that system. I'm not saying he would be the option every week, especially at Anfield when you've got Liverpool, teams sitting against offers, but especially away from home, we need more solidity. We desperately lack it. Uh, Schlotterbeck is a good option, especially in terms of passing. But again, is he that player that goes out wide and is good enough in 1v1 duels? I think Guehi excels in that. I really do. Ground deals, Guehi is really good at. He might struggle aerially a tad, but he's not the worst. But when he goes across and mops up, he's very good at it from what I've seen. Okay, people, I think we leave it there so I can get some rest. I'm just gonna quickly check if we've missed any questions and supers. No. Okay, people. Hope that was a useful, productive piece of content for you on a show. I always like to engage. If I missed any questions out, I'm very sorry. If you really want me to answer your question, send it to me on Twitter, and I'll try to engage with you next time. What else is there? Gene is back tomorrow. I think he's got a guest on. Me and Gene will try to do this a lot more. I talked to him since he's back from Pakistan and his world tour, and I said, look, we need to do this more. What it allows us to do is just to make sure we get content out there on a daily basis. So whether it's me, whether it's Gene coming on alone once or twice a week, whether it's a guest, if we can bring in a guest as well, I will do. And then what we'll do is the transfer dailies in January will be back very soon as well. So we'll be coming on during the day like we used to during the summer, and then we'll do other shows as well. We're back in the studio on Saturday. I'm trying to sort out the 3 o'clock kickoff, how we're gonna get it on the big screen in the studio, so we can watch it with you on Saturday. And then I'll make sure I do a few more tactical shows on the tactics board as well when we get back into the studio from Saturday. But that's all to come. Until then, take care of yourselves wherever you are. If you're starting the day like Alex, then enjoy your day. Like me, I'm gonna go get a cuppa and hit the sack. But thank you so much. And these sort of comments, honestly, this is the reason why I do it. I'm gonna get shit, and you don't have to agree with my opinion, even though I do lose it at times. But I'm a human being. But thank you so much, Paul. These sort of comments provide me a lot of motivation, because I'm naturally, people are enjoying it. You want to provide more, and what I'm going to do in the next week or two, I'm just sorting a few things out. I really want to write more things about Liverpool. When I see games, take graphics. I'm going to start attending a few more games as well, because I do miss it. And that was, I think, if I'm really honest, a bit of a niche and a unique thing that I was providing: behind the bench content, graphics from the pitch, content from the game as well, and then mixing it in when I watch the game back. So I'm going to relaunch. I launched my Substack. I never wrote on it, but I'm going to launch my Substack because that's a passion, a personal passion of mine. So please stay tuned. And if you can support that as well, then please do so. I know you will, because you're the best community out there. So thank you so much, people. Until the next one, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.